So you clicked on this video, and you're watching it, and you're thinking, I already know what's on this list, right? And you'd be right. More than likely. Because here's the thing. As I've said multiple times, Hollywood does not have enough good werewolf content out there. But hey, these are my 10 favorite werewolf movies, and yeah, no particular order. And if you think a movie should be on this list or not, that's totally fine. I got no problem with you. I will say that I did bring physical material to help showcase, so keep that in mind. I don't have all the Blu-rays needed for something like this because I don't have all of them. But I'm going to mention some movies that I don't have. And again, these are just my 10 favorite werewolf movies. If you think a werewolf movie should be on the list or not, that's totally fine. And there's no, like I said, there's no particular order, and I'm always excited to hear where you guys stand on your favorite werewolf movies. Anyway, so let's talk about the werewolf movies I like but don't have a physical copy of. Starting with, I'm going to go with 2 movies, actually, right out the gate. Those being Ginger Snaps and Ginger Snaps The Beginning. Ginger Snaps, as we all know, is a 90s werewolf movie that was more of a play on to getting a woman getting her period and a lot of like struggles as a woman and a young girl in high school. The main cast of the 2 sisters is awesome. The werewolf stuff is kind of but I think it really conveys itself as a cool, like, 90s edgy kind of drama film. I also love that moment in Ginger Snaps where Ginger and her sister are like get attacked by the werewolf, and her sister has this moment of hope, and because their whole thing is like we love death and all that, and we think death is cool and all that. And then it's like they get fucking mauled by Ginger's getting mauled by this werewolf, and her sister has this look of, oh my god, this is actually happening. Holy shit, I don't like this. The movie is pretty awesome, and I will say, now the prequel, because this is the 3rd movie, but it's treated as a prequel because they shot Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed, which is, but Ginger Snaps The Beginning is a prequel set in the hundreds of years, like I think in the 1800s in the French Canadian territories, and it's basically the descendants of the of Ginger and her sister, who also have the same names, played by the same actor and actresses. And basically they find a fort that is under siege by werewolves. It's actually pretty solid. It's actually like a solid siege movie. On top of that, there's actually like a lot of cool, all the characters are pretty interesting in their own right, of like how they view things, how they view the werewolves, how they view the sisters. It's actually pretty solid. So Ginger Snaps The Beginning, I would love to own that on Blu-ray as well, along with Ginger Snaps. But yeah, I like Ginger Snaps The Beginning. It's not good. It's not a good werewolf movie, but it is like an interesting take on a prequel. Like it's probably one of the most interesting takes I've ever seen on a prequel ever. So next up for a movie I don't have the Blu-ray of, and I'm going to mention it right here, Curse of the Werewolf, a classic Hammer film that is a solid werewolf movie, and actually goes into a little bit of werewolf lore, where it's not like someone bit someone and they're slowly turning into a werewolf. No, it basically is actually like a old folklore of if a child's born on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, they're cursed to be a werewolf. Which is kind of shitty of God, God and not wanting anyone else to share his kid's birthday, but I digress. It's a solid, the werewolf effects are pretty solid, and while it does take a little while to get into, I think it's a little slow, the werewolf stuff is more than worth it. I genuinely think it is a solid werewolf movie. Do I think it's one of Hammer's best? No, but I do think it's a solid werewolf, and it's a werewolf movie in its own right, and I'd love to own it. Following that, finally, we have Late Phases. Late Phases is a movie about a elderly veteran who's lost his eyesight, and he's forced to live in a retirement home, not a retirement home, but like a retirement complex, like basically all those houses you see sometimes. And yeah, among that, after his dog is killed by a home invasion of a werewolf, he goes on a quest to hunt down and kill this werewolf. The werewolves themselves look kind of goofy, and there's also the skin ripping, which you all know I hate by now. But I think it's a solid tension-filled werewolf movie. I also think that there's also some dark humor in here that really works. There's a lot of great stuff, and the main character, who was the main hunter in Stakeland, gives an amazing performance in here. It's a solid werewolf movie, and one of the more fascinating werewolf movies we've had in a long time. And that movie came out 2015, so we're all kind of starved for werewolf content, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so let's get into talk about the movie, my other werewolf movies that I really do enjoy, that I do have copies of. Starting off, Bad Moon. Bad Moon is a werewolf movie that it has a really interesting take to it. Basically, in this film, this follows a dog named Thor who has discovered that the family he lives with, his owner's brother, is a werewolf. And the werewolf design is really awesome. I really do enjoy it. I think it gives me everything I want with a werewolf design. The transformation sequence is this god-awful CGI, and I wish they didn't do that, but I guess that was just low budget. But the design of the full werewolf is awesome, and there's some great gore in here, too. There's also a solid jump scare at the end that I forget happens every time, and it gets me every time. If you've seen the movie, you know what jump scare I'm talking about at the end of the movie. But yeah, I really enjoy this. This isn't like a Carnage Candy kind of movie. This is more of a werewolf movie that is told from the perspective of a dog. And it's more about this dog trying to protect his family from this monster, which I really like. I really do enjoy it. I think it's a solid film. Now, if we were to rank these werewolf movies, this would be my number one every time. Dog Soldiers. To the shock of no one, Dog Soldiers is a phenomenal werewolf movie. It's arguably one of the best werewolf movies out there. It's basically a siege movie with werewolves, and it does feel like Neil Marshall's trying to homage like John Carpenter and other classic films. This is basically, if someone put it best, is like if you put Evil Dead and The Howling in a blender, it'd be this movie, which is kind of solid. If you don't know what this movie is about, this movie is basically the story of a group of British soldiers who are, during a training exercise, are attacked by werewolves and now have to survive the night. It's actually really solid. I really like it. I think it's pretty cool. I really love that movie. It's my favorite werewolf movie. The effects, the werewolf, the story, everything else. It is definitely a movie I will always come back to one way or another. Next up, Silver Bullet. Real quick, this was recently given to me by my friend Chris. Thank you once again, bro. And Silver Bullet is a Stephen King story, which is based off of the book The Cycle of the Werewolf, which, side note, was meant to be just a short story calendar, told with the artwork. It was supposed to... Okay, so originally I'm going to talk about the book, because I love the backstory of what the book of Silver Bullet was supposed to be, or rather, Cycle of the Werewolf. Basically, what was supposed to happen was that originally it was supposed to be a calendar with artwork by Bernie Wrightson telling the story, and Stephen King would leave little blurbs about each month, because each month is a different cycle of the werewolf. So we'd follow this year. It was almost like Long Halloween, where it's like it follows this year-long story of the werewolf. But that didn't happen. King just made it a full-ass book, and became a movie called Silver Bullet. This movie is about, if you don't know what this is about, this basically follows a young kid who is paralyzed, and he discovers that there is a werewolf killing people in the town of Taucus Mills, where he grows up. So he, his older sister, and his drunk uncle, played by Gary Busey. I don't think I need to say more of why you... Now you're probably thinking, if you haven't seen this movie and you heard drunk Gary Busey, you're probably thinking, say less, I'm in. Yeah. The movie is really great. I will say the second half kind of lags a bit, but that first half of the tension of what the werewolf is doing to the town is really cool. I really like seeing the psychological effect of this werewolf kind of just terrorizing this town. So, and the second half is the transformation sequence pretty good. I will say though, the werewolf does kind of look like a teddy bear sometimes, especially in a few shots. But it's still a solid movie. I really love it. Yeah. So, we weren't going to talk about a werewolf movie without talking about the classic Lon Chaney Jr. werewolf movie, Wolfman, right? This movie is the progenitor. Now, I know it's not this isn't the first werewolf movie, I'm well aware, but this basically is the werewolf movie that is the granddaddy of them all. Like, this is the werewolf movie that basically set the groundwork for everything. Full Moon, well, actually, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman is the one that did Full Moon. It's Autumn Moon in the original poem, but I digress. But yeah, what's actually interesting is that this movie is so damn atmospheric and so beautiful to watch. And also, it's kind of funny because originally it was supposed to be like a psychological horror. And you can really see and my girlfriend really pointed this out because she really loved seeing this movie for the first time. She loved seeing, and she pointed out perfectly, where it's a guy who really does some not okay things, but you've seen the movie, so you already know. Basically, this swagger and all of this gets slowly torn apart throughout this mental stress he's under. Like, you see this kind of suave and very like charismatic guy get torn apart and broken down brick by brick throughout the story. So I think that's the really cool part of it. And again, Jack Pierce's Wolfman is iconic. Speaking of the Wolfman, speaking of the Wolfman, 2010 remake. I will continue to defend this movie. I really will. Is the acting that great? No. Is it perfect? No. What it is? Fucking awesome. It's gory. It's atmospheric. Danny Elfman's score is phenomenal. There's great tone to it, and I really wish this did better so we could see more films like this from Universal for their Universal Monsters, because this was basically the blueprint of how to do Universal Monsters movies going forward. But yeah, this movie's great. It's one of those remakes where it's not as good as the original. It's a weird one too, because like it's also got Rick Baker's phenomenal costume work as well. But I will say that it's not as good as the original, but it's still good. It's one of those remakes where it's like, it's one of those few remakes where it's not like trying to outclass the original film, but it's not awful either. There's a few movies where it's like, the remake was good, not as good as the original, but I don't vehemently hate it. It's one of those few remakes that do that. And finally, well, actually, no, we got two more movies. I'm just going to talk about them back to back because you know what they are. The Howling, which is in this little 4-pack. You can see right there. And American Werewolf in London. Is anyone shocked? Like, really, is anyone really shocked at the idea of these two movies being here on this list? Of course, they're on every fucking list. They are on every fucking werewolf list because they're the, they're the goats of werewolf movies. Like, The Howling, everyone debates which is better, The Howling or American Werewolf in London. And I say, why not both? And yeah, why not both? Why not have both of these werewolf movies be awesome? So yeah, those are my 10 favorite werewolf movies. I really do wish there were more better werewolf movies out there. I really do. There are some that I would give honorable mentions to, like The Beast Must Die. But the werewolf is just a dog painted black. It's actually got a cool premise where it's this billionaire hunter who wants to kill a werewolf, and he brings all these guests together trying to figure out who's the werewolf. And they actually have a moment where you're like, the detective, do you know who the werewolf is? And they don't give you enough clues to really say, like, oh, who I think the werewolf is. It also has Peter Cushing in it, so you can't go wrong with Peter Cushing. And for another honorable mention, Wolf, a Jack Nicholson werewolf movie from the 90s. It was part of Sony's, like, trying to reinvigorate the werewolf movie, like the classic monster genre, and trying to ride that high they had with Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. I think it's a really cool movie. I really like how it mixes, like, capitalism with the werewolf curse, and Jack Nicholson is clearly having the time of his life in this film. I think it's one of his more underrated performances, if I'm being honest. Anyway, so there you go, guys. You guys tell me in the comments below, what are your 10 favorite werewolf movies? Maybe you'll surprise me. Maybe you won't. Who knows? But anyway, just comment below. Let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.